Well, hello. Good evening. Welcome to When Wisdom Talks. I'm Alisha.
And I'm Kadesha.
And I'm on mute. You know what? That seems to be a running theme with me. It's funny when you try to wear so many different hats. You're the tech person, your host, something gets lost in the shuffle. But anyway, I'm Naomi, everybody bringing up the rear. We are your hosts, the Wisdom on the Wall trio, and we're so excited to spend this evening with you, this 1 hour, as Kadesha always points out that I say, that we're spending 1 hour of our time with you. And so we thank you for doing the same, that you're spending that time with us if you're tuned in. We want to give a shout out to all of our newbies. So if you are a newcomer, this is your first time tuning into the show, please make sure you leave a comment in the chat. Let us know that you're tuning in tonight for the very first time so we can say, hey, how you doing? And thank you. Also to our faithful followers and listeners, you already know what's up. We love you. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us. It's another Thursday. We're here. What is this? Mid-August. We are hitting on September's door like this. We will be in September, almost to the end of the year. We only have like a few more months left and we'll be in 2023. So, hey, y'all, if y'all got plans, y'all trying to do some stuff, y'all better hurry up and get that stuff done, baby, because this year is almost gone. Almost gone. And while you do it, make your day count. Today and every day. Make them count. This year, the days are numbered for 2022, so make every day count. Do what you got to do. Make some things happen. So with that, of course, I have a duty, and that's to let you know why you're here in the first place. And that is because we want to empower all of you to live better and wiser through engage in discussions, fun activities like tonight. I'm excited. And our inspiring special guest interviews like the one we also have tonight, which Kadesha will fill you in on. And of course, this episode and all of our episodes are sponsored by Be Inspired Global and Wisdom on the Wall. So I'm going to go ahead and kick it on over to Kadesha.
Thank you, Naomi. You're always so much energy, so bubbly. I love it. And you said, what you tell us to get to what we need to get to. So keep calm and vacation on. So if y'all still need the vacation, I know a special somebody has something planned coming up maybe in the month of September. So if you have a vacation, it's still time. You still have a little time. Actually, literally, somebody texted me today. They were taking their kids one last hurrah, headed to Rehoboth Beach in Delaware to get all the fun, all the sun before the kids go back to school. So you still have time to vacation on, as my mug says, okay? So we just want to welcome you to another Thursday, another When Wisdom Talks. Yes, we are midway through. Tomorrow actually is my dad's birthday. So happy birthday, Dad. I think he's turning 25 again. So that makes me about, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6. I'll take it. But I am very excited, and I'm always blessed when I'm able to witness and experience my parents having another birthday. So I am grateful for that for sure. But this month theme has been back to business. So getting back to the things that we have forgotten about, getting focusing forward on the things that we need to be doing, but getting back to business. And so this week specifically, tonight we're talking about fun shopping and saving money. So we want you to get back to saving, but somehow you can save and shop. I don't know, but we're going to find out how you could do that, okay, for all of you shoppers. And so if you didn't know, there's national days. You know, we always pulling out days from the calendar, right? So there's a National Garage Sale Day and National Thrift Shop Day and a National Bargain Hunting Day. So we are celebrating those today by telling you how you can have a good time shopping and saving. And we have one of our special guests, a reoccurring guest. We might as well just call her co-host. Okay, she's going to be telling us how you can thrift shop today. But before we get into that, you know, I always have to ask you to do a few things. I want you to share and like the show. It takes 2.5 seconds. Go ahead and share. Pick up your phone, text, send an email, whatever you need to do to make sure somebody is watching alongside you. Get your snacks, get your popcorn, your pretzels, your chips, your fruit, whatever you have, but you're in for a treat tonight. Make sure you are talking back to us. So as we talk to you, make sure you are talking in the comments. You can do hashtag When Wisdom Talks. If you want to talk or hear from us or submit a prayer request or learn about what we're doing throughout the week, because remember, this is our third stop during the week. So if you want to learn more about us, the three of us, you can go to wisdomonthewall.com or send us an email at info@wisdomonthewall.com. All right. I am sending it over to Alisha for our next segment. Somebody say, yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Kadesha. Well, if I'm up, you know what segment we're on. What my right on cue. Tell me something good. And I don't think I need to explain it, but so much, right? We're going to tell you something good. I like to say we are going to be your bearers of good news. We probably can, name a few people who may be bearers of bad news. We don't want to be amongst those people. We want to be your good news bearers. So we're going to bring you some good stories. I don't know, maybe good joke or two. Maybe a good movie we saw. But the underlying theme, the one word that resonates from it all is good. So it's going to be good. So I'm going to kick us off tonight. And my story is in honor of kind of what we're going to be dealing with tonight, which is essentially saving money. And I'm going to call it the power of the penny. So I became aware of this young man, I'm going to call him Mr. Otha Anders, who is 73 years old, and he lives in Ruston, Louisiana. And I would say he is a real life example of what the importance of saving your pennies looks like. For the past 45 years, he's been picking up and saving every penny that he has come across, as well as every penny he received as change from any of his cash purchases. And what started out really for him as something that was just going to be fun, it actually turned into a full-blown obsession. And as that little money pile in terms of his pennies began to grow, he became more and more obsessed with saving pennies. Actually, he says that it was his faith that started his quote unquote penny passion. He said he looked at lost pennies on the ground as his very special personal gift from God. And he said, I became convinced that spotting a lost or a dropped penny was an additional God-given incentive, reminding me to always be thankful. And he also said that there have been days when he failed to pray, and more often than not, a lost or dropped penny would show up to remind him to pray. So he went on to say that he would never spend a penny. He actually would break $1 before actually giving up one of his pennies. So after 45 years of saving every penny that he found, he actually filled 15, you see some of them back there in that picture, 15 5-gallon plastic water jugs. So that was 75 gallons worth of pennies. And he said he actually would have continued to collect more pennies if it wasn't for the fact that his homeowner's insurance company, which previously actually covered his penny collection, this time they decided not to renew his policy. And he couldn't find any other company to renew the policy. So he felt it was actually time for him to cash in his prize penny collection. So with the help of some of a few good friends and a couple dollies to help move the jugs around, they put it all in his truck and then ended up taking it to his bank, and they counted it. And literally it took 5 hours using the bank's coin counting machine. It took 5 hours to actually count the pennies. And the amount it added up to, drum roll please, it was $5,136.14. So that means he had over 500,000 pennies in all of those jars. And he actually said that it really came on time because he had a real expensive dental bill that he had to take care of, and he was able to use part of that money to take his family on a trip. And then part of that money he actually donated to his church. But I thought this story was just awesome because I think about, how my grandmother will always say pennies make dollars. And in his case, his pennies made thousands of dollars. So I just think it's just really cool to show the importance of how every penny counts when it comes to our money. So that is my story tonight.
Wow. It makes me think about sometimes when you're at the beach or just out and about, you'll see people searching with their little gadget looking for coins. It's like sometimes we look at them funny, but like you said, every penny, every dime, everything counts, right? It adds up. Look, I'll take that I'll take that money that he had. I sure and put it to work.
Come on now. I had to laugh though because they were talking about how the teller, when he was coming in with the jugs, the teller was looking like, what are you doing? And so she asked him, she said, what's going on here? He said, I'm bringing my pennies in for you to count them. And she said, you're joking, right? And he goes, no. And she said, how many do you think? He said, I don't know, maybe 500,000. And she was like, and you think we're going to take the time to count them? And he's like, yeah. And so she said, give me a moment. And she calls the manager from his office. And she's like, you need to come up here because I don't know what's going on. And when he saw that it was Mr. Anders, he was like, you know what? This man has never given us any problems. Wow. We figured he couldn't count it on his own, so we would at least do it for him. And 5 hours later, he had his $5,100. So it doesn't hurt to ask.
Okay. Ask not. Look, you don't open a closed mouth don't get fed. Okay. That is funny. That's too funny. Yeah, I'm glad I wasn't working there that day. Okay. How about that? So for me, speaking of thrifting, right? And patience, I have been working with a younger couple. And I don't ask my couples or ages or anything like that. It's not necessary, but you can kind of tell they may be in their young 20s. And so they were looking to purchase their first home. And from the very beginning, they were determined to use as little money as possible of their own, right? And so they had did some due diligence. They had, they knew about some programs. And so even when, certain lenders weren't able to work with these programs, they decided that using some of the programs from the city of Baltimore would be best for them. And so after a long drawn out time, because when you use programs, they do add sometimes to your settlement and to your closing. We are finally headed to the settlement table tomorrow, but they were able to receive by using a program. It's called the First Time Home Buyer Incentive Program. And so they were able to receive $10,000 from the city of Baltimore because of the area in which they're living, which is actually a phenomenal area. So that's a whole testimony in itself. They were very specific on what they wanted, and God provided for them. And so this program, again, is called the First Time Home Buyer Incentive Program. And it's basically a part of Mayor Scott's strategy to increase Like people want to, or the government wants people to live in the city of Baltimore and not flee, right? So this is a part of his strategy. And so basically you can receive anywhere between 5 to 10,000. You have to qualify, right? So you have to live in a certain area. So city impact investment area is what they call it. The eligible buyers must purchase a owner occupancy, so you have to live in it, and then you have to have a household income of about 80% of the area median income, which right now is about 56 for a household of one, 64,000 for a household of two, and then 80,000 for a household of four. And not only that, they're just blessed. They really are. They were able to receive about 4,000 from the seller. And so this particular home had been on the market for an extended period of time. So for all you future homeowners, aspiring homeowners, actually, I was talking to somebody earlier. She was like, do you think it's possible? I don't have any money. I'm like, anything is possible, but you have to like just dig, right? So if something's been on the market for a long time, that is wink, wink. Let me try to get some money from the seller. So get some closing cost help and be willing to wait. This couple was willing to wait it out, but they were very sensitive to the seller, right? They didn't want to inconvenience them, but they're like, look, if we can get this money, this will really help us. Because again, they're a young couple just starting out. And so I'm just so proud of them. But that's $14,000 that they were able to get using city programs and getting seller concessions. So it is possible. This done turned into a home buying seminar. However, I just want you to know, even when you're shopping for a home, you can find ways to save money, point blank, period. And so tonight we're going to be shopping for clothes, but for those of you shopping for homes, there are ways to save money. So I'm super proud of them. So that is my tell me something good story. Right before we hopped on, I was shopping for their closing gift. So I'm looking forward to seeing them bright and early. And yeah, all checks have cleared. Money is hit. And that's the most important part. Long they send the money over. That's the most important part. So yes, thrifting is possible when you're shopping for a home too.
I love it. That's a example of, like you were saying in my piece, you have not because you ask not.
That's right.
So if they didn't ask the sellers, to potentially contribute, they would have never gotten it, because the seller's not going to just give it to you without asking. So I love it. And I love that they're young and were determined to become homeowners, so I love that. Great.
Yeah.
That's a really good thing. Anything is possible. It really is. I guess it just all depends on how much you want something and the work you're willing to put into it. So congratulations to them. That's exciting. I know they probably both have butterflies and everything. Hopefully they get a good night's sleep and they won't be up all night from excitement. Because that does happen even to adults when you get excited for something. Well, let me just go right into my story, which has nothing to do with either of your stories at all. But it does have a lot to do with this season that we're in, and kind of leading into the next week or two, where a lot of people will be going back to school. And so, social media, though, is already blowing up, from pictures of proud parents posting pictures of their children, right? Well, there's a comedian that I follow on social media. He's hilarious. Typically, he covers church comedy, like things that happen in church that those of us who go to church or grew up in church are familiar with. And so he kind of makes fun of, for lack of a better way of saying it, some of those things that we might see, right? His name is not Carlton Banks with a K. And so he posted this picture, and I saw a lot of these pictures last year of the before, when your child looks so wonderful going to school, and the after they've had a long, hard day. So here's the picture. I started rolling. So this is a character that he plays called Lily. And yeah. Can y'all see that? I hope y'all can. So this is him playing one of the characters, Lily. I think it's Leander or something like that, but Lily. On the left, I guess it is your left, or maybe on your right if you're tuning in. This is how wonderful Lily looks before she leaves the house to go to school. And then the other picture is after, when She's had a hard day. And I know a lot of parents can relate to this right here. You send your child to school one way and they come home an entirely different way, missing things. You have to ask them what happened to hair bows and barrettes and articles of clothing and all sorts of things. And so I know I've had that experience a time or two. Or you yourself as a child may have done the very same thing. Your parents say, now when you get to school, do not take this off. And what do? You go to school and do the exact opposite. And so I thought this was just really cute because this is a prep for all the pictures we're about to see over the next week or so of proud parents just posting away of their children on the first day of school. My kids, I tell you, I talked to them recently and they were like, Mom, yeah, you definitely was like a whole overboard mess when I when taking pictures and posting them on social media. But hey, these times they come and go so quickly. And my best friend Kendra, giving you a little hint, but my best friend Kendra, she always told me, like, girl, those years just fly by. And she was not lying at all. 13 and my daughter will be 12 on August the 30th, and they're both going to 7th and 8th grade. One is in his final year of middle school and the other is right behind him. So yeah, enjoy it. So parents, I want to say to you and loved ones and you loved ones of little ones that's going back to school, post away. These are the only times that you get to be proud of them going back to school. So I ain't mad at it.
I love it. As much as they're complaining about it now, when they get older, they're going to be happy that you have those milestone pictures that they can actually look back at, even if, might laugh at them. At least they're there, chronicling their young years. So
That's
I hope
right.
so, because sometimes as they get adults, they think, oh, it's torture or blackmail when you start showing pictures of them as children. Like, oh, mommy, no, you didn't, And when family members come over, you want to show them photo albums and such, and go down memory lane and all that stuff.
It's when they get of a certain
Down
age.
memory lane.
Yes, and I can imagine I probably will be one of those mothers where I'm pulling things out of everywhere. I even have a little time capsule thing where I keep little drawings and stuff, and they're like, "Mom, you still have that?" Yes.
Yeah.
You know, want to see it when you get older, and then you can show it to your kids.
Yep,
That's right.
absolutely. I
Girl,
love it.
that is my mother all the way, honey. Got the albums. I think she came over a few months ago and dropped off something from my wedding. I'm like, why do I need this right now?
But right,
just in case you needed it.
It was like, oh, look what I came across.
That's right. Trying to get rid of it. But it's funny you say, some of the things we wore going to school. And I remember my mother made me and my sister wear the snow outfits, like from head to toe.
Suits. Yes,
and I'm like, so by the time I got to the bus stop, I'm coming out of this thing. I'm hot. I'm sweating. I didn't want nothing to do with it. So yeah, I don't know. I hope nobody was spying on me at school, but I was definitely not in the snowsuit by the time I arrived. It's like, man, why we got to wear that?
I was like that for school and for church. I was such a tomboy. I love sports. I love tumbling around with the boys. So my mother would send me to church with tights, and then they'd come back with holes in them.
Oh goodness.
They never made them back. They never made it back home whole. So, I mean, it just was what it was. The white shoes, what? Oh, they were going to come back with some black scuffs on them.
Oh my goodness.
I feel you on that. I feel you.
Oh guys, tell us your stories in the chat. Whatever childhood memories you have on wearing something that your parents didn't, that you didn't agree with your parents, but tell us something good in the chat. I love it. Talk back to us.
I love it. Oh, well, this was good. Thank you for sharing, ladies. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Kadesha, to take us into this next segment. Woo-woo.
Everybody say yeah.
Yeah.
So we have, it's such a tongue twister. So it's National Garage Sale Day, okay? National Thrift Shop Day, and National Bargain Hunting. So Yeah, none of those things sound fun to me. It sounds like I have to really look. And that is what I don't like when I'm shopping. Like, I just need it to be like, look at me, us make eye contact, we fall in love with each other, and that's it. Like, I don't want to have to dig and search. But that's what all that sounds to me. However, apparently you can save a lot of money when you're shopping if you are open to thrifting. And so again, tonight we are talking about having fun shopping and saving money with none other but um our good friends, our pseudo co-host, our everything. She's our fourth partner of Wisdom on the Wall. But Miss Kendra Pierce is our special guest tonight, and she is going to be telling us how to thrift. And yeah, so take your notes, ladies, because first of all, we are coming around the corner, and maybe you can find some good things for Christmas. So who knows? So are we just bringing her out, or do we have a video? Yes, Miss Thrift Shopping Enthusiast. You do so much. She's a model, she's a mother, she's a wife, she is a prayer warrior, elder, a strong woman of faith. And now she is a thrift shop enthusiast, which I'm just finding this out. So I'm excited. So now I have to be calling and texting you.
Yes. Hey, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I have been just cracking up at the stories. I was like, I wish I could type my story in.
Hey, Kendra, welcome to the show again.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for carving out some time, and thanks for walking us through this whole thrift shop ensemble. I'm like, I don't know what to expect. Let me get my notepad all the way ready. So I hear you have some things that you want to show us, you and Miss Naomi as well. So maybe show us some things that we can get from the thrift store, just in case there may be some bougie somebody out there that's never stepped into a thrift store. So show us some of the fancy things that we can get.
Okay, so first of all, you know how there are a lot of expensive stores that you shop at. The thing is, you can always find name brands, like those high end. So this dress that I have on, I'm just gonna, give it a little bit of. This dress is a Michael Kors dress, and so I know the prices that I see in Michael Kors, I normally don't shop, but this dress was maybe like $12 at the thrift store. And so then once I had my dress already on the rack, I found a pair of shoes that matched it perfectly. And let me see, a couple dresses. So this dress I wore at my sorority's 30th year. And this dress here is a handmade dress.
That's pretty.
Yep. And I have plenty of pictures of this, but this one was, handmade. And then you can find a lot of things that are just like very, really unique. And I want to point here. I don't know if y'all can see what I'm pointing at.
Is that the
I'll bring them closer.
Aw, they're cute.
And if anybody, well, see, y'all are not like in my house and in my car and things like that, but I collect giraffes. So anytime I'm at a thrift store, I look for things that I collect, things that I can put in my home. So those are just a couple things that I got from thrifting.
Wow. Alisha, I feel like you're in amazement. You're amazed right now.
I'm in amazement of that handmade dress. That was simply beautiful. Oh my goodness gracious. I love it.
It was really very nice. And word on the street, Naomi, is you have some things you want to show.
Yeah, I think I was inspired by Kendra, but most of the stuff I have from the thrift store came from her. If she's
Ooh,
shopping and stuff,
What they
you
say,
know,
that's what friends are for.
I think they were like this, and she come with all her doodads and such. So this one item was so cute. Like she's so thoughtful, and she always gets me things that have to do with my business. So this is a magnet, and I picked it out because it's unique and it's also handmade, and it says inspire. It's made out of a Jenga piece,
Wow. That
and
is
it's
very unique.
in it, and it's a magnet, so you can. And she knows that I actually collect magnets. I actually have a whole magnetic whiteboard with nothing but magnets on it from different places that I've visited, unique ones that I've seen. And so this got added to the family, y'all. Yes, indeed. I love it. Also, if you know me, you know that I love glasses and sunglasses. Like, low key, I may have a little bit of a problem, but don't tell anyone, okay? This is between me and y'all, okay? Keep it secret. I love glasses. And so, what I found out is that thrift shops and discount stores sell them all the time, and you'd be surprised of the unique frames that you can find. So the other day I was in the store and found some really cute frames, and usually towards the end of the summer you might start seeing more and more. So these were really different, so I had to get these bad boys. Okay, y'all don't want none. Y'all do not want none of them in these streets. Okay.
I love
So
it.
these were so adorable. I love unique frames. You can find me in any kind of frame at any given moment, and I have to have a frame that matches whatever I'm wearing. So this was, I think it was about $3.99. That's it, as opposed to maybe $10 or more if you go to a regular store, right? Okay, I didn't stop that, baby. I found me some more. Okay, I then they had the cute little bug frames. I said, okay, now they talking my language right now. This has the little design. I bought this one because look at the design and detail on
Nice.
the see, unique. Just finding stuff that you might not find. And then I found another pair that's similar to the other ones that I had on, but it's in my favorite color, green. Ooh, with a little animal print.
I love it.
Okay, y'all, I am ready for the sun. Where is the sun? Okay, sun, where art thou? Yeah. So, so that's what I do when I go thrifting. I go just to find stuff that I really like because I'm not an enthusiast. And even when Kendra and I go shopping, when I've had my fun, I go find a seat and sit down somewhere and let her do her thing. I'm sitting right here. I'm here for moral support. I'm just gonna sit right here. Let you do your thing. So for me, I like it, but it's not my favorite thing to do. Although I do enjoy shopping. I do like clearance shopping, but yeah. So
Wow. I love it. Those shades were so cute, Naomi.
Thank you.
So Kendra, how did you get started into like thrift store shopping? Is this something that you did growing up, or did you kind of stumble into it?
Well, I started actually when I moved into my own house. So when I first got married, we were definitely on a budget. And so they had a disabled American veterans warehouse in Baltimore, right on Pratt Street, and we lived in that area. And we couldn't afford new furniture at the prices they were going at the time. So when I first got my house, I started going to thrift stores to see how I can furnish my house. But again, I was on a strict budget at the time. So that's how I started, and I fell in love. Like I just needed to go just to go. So that's how I started.
Cool beads. I mean, that sounds rational. It's like go where I can afford it, where my budget will allow me. But as we think about thrift store shopping, and as Kadesha said, some people may have never entered into one for whatever reason. But what are some of the misconceptions that people may have out there when it comes to thrift store shopping?
I think one of the the greatest misconceptions is that it's for the poor. It's like if you don't have money only, and or you'll get raggedy stuff, trash, and things like that. It's like, okay, that's just a dumpster, junk that people want to throw away, and it's far, far from that. Like they always say, one man's trash is another man's treasures. Some things you may have just outgrown. Your style has changed, and you want to donate those things. You want to give those things away, and then someone else can use them. But not, by no means is it for the poor, or is it trash and raggedy items. So I think that's the greatest misconception about it.
I think that's good. I thank you for sharing that, because I think that's what a lot of people think. You think, oh, people are giving away stuff and not taking into account that people can be giving away stuff that was really good, like you said, but they outgrew it or whatever, or maybe, they moved and didn't have room for it. So yeah, that was really good. Love it.
And there are a group of people that really only like to wear stuff one time, right? So they may wear it once and then donate it, understanding that they're going to get a tax write-off, right? So, so that's, I think, if I remember correctly, is there a good time when I should be going into the thrift store? Is it like near the end of the year when people are like donating everything, or is there any specific time frames?
During the year, not necessarily, but there are always savings days. If you could, if you could think that you could save even more at a thrift shop, there are definitely days like the end of the month. Actually, Saturdays, I believe at Goodwill, the ones that I go to, I believe like maybe the last Saturday of the month, they have like a color sale. For example, like if you see a blue dot and it's 25 cents, you might get it for 10 cents, like just extra savings. And so people really flock, and it's crazy because you actually have to get to the thrift store early, on those savings days, because people take it seriously. So those are, the different places have different sales and different times that are actually running, so people who thrift a lot actually look forward to those days to go shopping.
But you said something, different places, and I remember another thrift store enthusiast share with me, the areas in which are like more affluent, like go to the thrift stores in those areas, right? So of course, it can apply to a restaurant. Like if you go to a restaurant potentially in a rundown area, it may be run down, right? A Walmart or etc. So find the thrift store in the good areas, whatever that really means, right? But that was her advice to me. So yeah, you're actually making me want. It sounds fun a little bit.
It does. I think one of my favorite things about thrift shopping though is that you can go to 10 different shops, like Outer Banks. They have more than 20 thrift shops, and it's the Outer Banks is a small stretch of highway or towns, but you can always find something unique at every one. So that's like one of the joys of it. You won't find the same thing, and you can go to 5 different thrift stores on the same block. And so, and I wanted to say something about the areas. I think too, it's good that the area that you regularly shop in, I know that I had gone to an affluent area. I think it was, it's expensive to live there for one. But the thing is, I thought that particular one, I had gone in and I was not impressed. So I think even though you look at the areas and then you compare the stores, I think you should go to areas that you already shop in and then look for the areas, look for the thrift shops, the Goodwills, the Savers and things like that. So it's not always the affluent areas or areas that you think may have the nicer things. And it's actually a personal preference too. What are you actually looking for? And then make your choices when you're searching for stores.
I was going to add too, when Kendra mentioned Outer Banks, I'll just give a personal story. She had actually made an itinerary for a particular day to hit different thrift shops. And I thought that was kind of cool because, if you just don't have anything to do on a Saturday, look up some thrift shops in your area or surrounding areas and make a day of it. And it really is fun. And we've done that here in right here in our hometown, where we would be out and we would just hit one thrift store or another And truly, you would find unique things in both. You might find a dress in one and go to another and find the perfect matching shoes like Kendra did at another. So it just depends. And making a day of it is really fun. And then of course, you got to make sure you build in some time to go get something to eat. That makes the whole day complete.
Right.
A thrift store shopping day wouldn't be the same without some food, Naomi. I love it. That's a good idea to kind of make a day of it and make it fun, right? Do something different that we wouldn't normally do. I love that. So what would you say are the advantages of, shopping at a thrift store versus me going to a regular store in the mall? Because clearly my mall is right here, right? It's close, it's convenient. Thrift store, I may have to travel just a little bit further, at least for me. So what would be the benefit of me kind of going the extra mile?
Well, again, I think I kind of alluded to it before, as far as thrift shopping, you can find unique items. I was talking to my daughter the other day about it, and she was like, you might find some discontinued things. So you go into the mall today, and things that were in last season may not be in the malls. And it's still something that you want to wear, that you're looking for. So those items will probably be in the thrift stores. Definitely unique finds. You're not going to see everyone wearing it. You're not going to see everyone, sporting the things that you can find at a thrift store versus the mall. And then affordability. Definitely affordability. The thrift store, I think, can match anyone's budget. And so if you're looking to save money, and it's again, not being cheap, not, being poor, but having to be frugal about, where you want to spend your money and how you want to spend your money. And again, it's for any budget. So I think that you can, those advantages really outweigh going to the big shops, to me.
That's good. I think that uniqueness part really resonates with me, just being able to get something different that, other people may not end up having, because it is such a unique item. Like that dress. I keep going back to that dress. That was really cute. But do you have a particular process? I don't know if I'm using the right word, but, for finding the best deals in the thrift store, like, is there, you go in with a method to your madness when it comes to actually shopping in the stores, because you mentioned going on the days like when they may have the blue tags and all that other stuff. But are there any other tips that you have to be able to get more from that thrift store shop?
Well, I guess going in, I may not be the best person to say, what's the strategy, because I just get this, I want to see everything. I want to touch everything. If you don't look at everything, you may miss something. However, kind of realistically speaking, I think if you go in, first of all, with a budget, saying this is how much I'm going to spend, go in saying this is what I'm looking for. And then so you have a focus, because it can be overwhelming, especially as an enthusiast. It's like you want to find a deal. You go in knowing that you're going to find a deal. And so set your budget, go in having an idea of what you want to look for, and then only look in those areas, only look for those things, because you can always get off track, because it's something in there for everybody. It's something unique. You're not going to see it. And that's the pull with thrifting. It's like, am I going to see this again? Where I'm not going to see this in this store, that store, or the next thrift store. So go in there with a mindset. And I think once you stick to those guns, you'll find what you're looking for.
That's good. Because for me, it's the overwhelming piece. It's just like, oh my God, it's like, it seems like it's stuff everywhere. And it's like, oh my God, which way do you go? And then it's like, you know what? I can't even do this. Let me just leave and keep it moving. But, mentioning all those things in there, can you speak to what are some good things to get from a thrift store, and things that you maybe should avoid from purchasing from a thrift store, if there's such a thing?
Yeah, so definitely clothing. Again, they have a wide variety of tastes. So you're not going to see only young clothes, young generational clothes. You're not going to see old clothes that's for the older generation, or you're going to see something from all of the spectrum. So definitely clothing. I would definitely say shoes as well, because I think they do weed out the shoes that they put out. So they're not going to put out a lot of, shoes that are worn and tattered and no one wants, basically trash, What's another thing? I think you can definitely buy furniture. Definitely buy furniture. Even if it's older furniture, you can always use it. A lot of times older furniture is put together. You're going to find a lot of old, maybe, furniture that's like 15, 20 years old in the thrift store, but you can always cover it. You can reupholster it. It's well put together. And definitely cooking utensils or pans. I've bought, expensive cooking pans that, I'll look at the real price or the price that you would get brand new, and it's a lot more expensive than the $15 or $20 that you would pay at the thrift store. And then one thing that I would not buy is children's toys. And the only reason I say that is because they, I think of this, the first thing that your children are going to do, especially for small children, is put the toys in their mouth and it have a lot of parts and things like that. A lot of times I see them missing parts, I hate to say, and then just a little bit more worn than, something in the other categories. So I probably wouldn't buy shoes, and I would really look at the electronics, because you can try them in the store, but there's no guarantee that it's going to continue to work. So you can plug it in, it lights up, it does what it's going to do there. But once you take it home, there's like no warranty except, bringing it back in exchange, really bringing it back really. I think they have like a small window for electronics, but
I think it's like 48 hours or something like that. No more than days. So, yeah.
So those are things I would kind of steer away from.
Now, the ones that I've been to, I can't remember if they give you a full refund or is it a credit to the store?
I believe it's store credit. They don't give you a refund. Not that I've experienced.
Okay.
But one good thing is with speaking of refunds or money back, what happens is if you donate, you'll get like, percentages off your purchases at the store. So I know when I've donated items to the thrift stores, especially again Goodwill's one of the main ones that I go to, they'll give you a coupon for your next purchases there. So that's like an incentive to come back, So
I love it. I love it. And I feel like I can hear people thinking, well, how am I going to wear clothes that somebody else wore? But, I guess what I was always advised, and I would ask of you, Kendra, is, do you wash the clothes before you wear them? And I would assume that you're kind of wiping down the furniture and things of that nature so everybody feels confident, right? And kind of moving forward with somebody else's things. But what are some of maybe the cleanliness that you're taking in terms of shopping at the thrift store?
Yeah, definitely washing your clothes, just washing them, and definitely sanitizing, even cleaning your furniture, professionally, taking it to the cleaners, putting it in the cleaners. Sometimes you may have to tailor some of the items that you buy from the thrift store, but the same things that you would do. I look at it like once I wear my clothes and I'm out in the day, it has just as much germs on it as the one that I bought from the thrift store. Now they do clean the clothes. They don't sell, used smelly clothes and things like that. I'm not sure what their backdoor their process is, but when I buy things, they're already clean. But most of the times I try to wash and make sure it's ready for me to wear. And so definitely sanitize, and I think you'll be good to go.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, that was a good question, because I think that's probably in the back. I know it was something in the back of my mind, like, okay, like, where has this been? So yeah, that's good. I mean, because actually when you were talking about the shoes, that was kind of what was going through my mind, like, I don't know, but yeah, that makes sense there. But I mean, I could feel your passion for it, and I don't know. Describe some other feelings. I mean, describe your feelings when it comes to, because I know, like, when I shop, I have like certain feelings, and it just makes me want to shop. So, what is it about the thrifting in terms of the feelings that you get bring you back?
Oh, I feel, it's a euphoria. It's like an excitement every single time. And and Naomi and I, like she said, I plan my days, especially when I go to vacation in the Outer Banks. But it's something. It may be an issue, but when I pass a yard sale or don't have time to go to the thrift store and I see, all this stuff laying out, I get, like I get this anxious feeling or this sadness, like, oh, I wish I could stop. So when I go and I'm able to, it's a euphoria that, it's like I want to be here. I have to be here. And when you have friends to go with you and sit on the side, they give you that opportunity to look at everything. So yeah, it's total enjoyment. I love every minute of it.
That's
Wow.
understandable because that's how I feel going into I don't want to call it regular stores, but going into the regular stores, like it's just being able to get a big deal. Like, when am I going to find that is going to be a big deal and I'm going to be excited that I actually came in here. So I see how it translates.
Yeah, and one thing I wanted to mention though is like even though you're going to the thrift store, I would still encourage everyone to set your budget. Like this is how much I'm going to spend because everything at the thrift store to me seems like it's a good deal. And when am I going to see it again? I may not, so I need to get it. So I'm coming out there spending $100 when I only needed to spend 50 to really, or to 20 really to get some things that I needed. So yeah, it's exciting.
You know what I think is fun though too, like looking at all your spoils at the end and you get it home and you open up your bag and you're looking at whatever new thing you got, dress, jewelry, whatever accessories, whatever the case is. I think that's the reward at the end of the day. Like once you've gone to all your shops and you get home and you look at stuff and you try it on, because sometimes you can try on things at the thrift store, of course, but it just feels so much better when it belongs to you now and you're at home and you're trying it on. So I think that's the reward too.
Yes. So, and I see things when I'm at the thrift store for someone else. I'm like, oh, again, Nay, she would really love this. Oh, my daughters. Oh, my husband. Oh, I buy my husband. I buy my father-in-law. I'm always shopping for shirts. It's like I have someone else on the mind. So it's not just, me. I was like, oh, they would like this. And if I'm spending my money, then, a $3 shirt versus a $15 shirt, and they appreciate it.
Well, yeah, because they don't have to know where it comes from, right? So it's like I'm enjoying this conversation because I feel like it levels the playing ground. Like it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. You can make shopping affordable, and that's because I think women, we love shopping. It makes us feel good, it makes us look good, and so it's like a self-esteem booster. So I really appreciate the thrift store owners because it's like it's giving people opportunities to shop, and the thrift shop enthusiast I was talking about earlier, I think her and her husband used to own maybe 2 or 3 of them, and you can really make some money when you own some thrift stores. So I don't know if you've ever thought about that, Kendra, but definitely could be a potential business opportunity. Look, would you have anything to sell or would you be taking everything home?
Right. See, that's the key. Like, I think I'd be, eating my profit. I was like, I have all these donations. I was like, I just could not put these on the floor. I can hear my husband now. Now, where do you bring, you're supposed to be selling this stuff. So
that's funny because that's what I would say. When I was in high school, I had worked at Bloomingdale's, and then, since then I haven't done retail. But when I'm in the stores, I'm like, especially when they have a big sale, I'm like, I don't know how you work here. Like my check will stay here, so I totally hear exactly what you're saying there. Wow. I love it. But, I guess one question that I would ask in terms of advice for, like Kadesha said, there's probably people out there who are kind of like, you know what, I may want to give this a try. Like what word of advice or even caution would you give to that quote unquote newbie out there who's interested in starting a thrift store shopping piece of their life?
Okay, so I think the main thing is to get the stigma of hand-me-downs or that's for the poor, those negative things that may be associated with someone giving away things or buying things secondhand. Kind of put those feelings to the back of your mind, and understand that, again, Nay mentioned it before, like these things are mine now, and you can give those things a new life. And no matter what you buy, even if it's new, it's been touched by many people before it got to your hands. And it's new to you. Whether it's brand new in the store, someone could have returned it. They could have worn it and returned it. That piece of clothing could be, used in this grand scheme of things. But put all the stigma behind you and just step out and try it. And then you'll see how you feel. And I think that first find where, it really, that item speaks to you that hasn't spoke to you in other areas, I think you'll be hooked. Once you have that unique find, you'll be hooked.
That was a good point about especially clothing. Like you said, if you get it from anywhere else, who knows, a person wore it and they brought it back and, they retagged it or whatever, or even people just trying the clothes on as well. So that's an excellent point to bring out there. So thank you for mentioning that. And that stigma piece is a big one as well. Good. Thanks.
This was so good, Kendra. It's like I can see you having your own little segment on thrift shopping and yes, and finding good finds in the store. Like this was good. You gave us a lot of good tidbits, and somehow I don't know, we're crawling on to the end of the show somehow. But we so appreciate you for just again carving out some time to talk to us on how to save money when we shop and how to have fun, right? Like it sounds like, look, we need to all do a little girl shop here soon.
Yes.
The Outer Banks. Yes, I need to try this Outer Banks thing. You said it's how many on a row?
At least 20.
Oh my.
20. And it's about, I guess, it's maybe like 4 towns in the Outer Banks. And they have more, they have 20 or more. I did look that up, but I know I've hit plenty of them, and they're steady popping up. You can't get tired of them.
Wow. Well, we appreciate you sharing your knowledge. Ladies and gents, I hope you learned something. I hope you were inspired by Miss Kendra, the thrift enthusiast. Thanks again, Kendra. We look forward to having you again.
You're welcome. Thank you for inviting me on the show tonight.
Thank you. You definitely lived up to your name.
Yes.
Enthusiast.
Love it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night. Wow. So tell us in the chat if you are sold. Will you be going on a thrift shop excursion here?
Extravaganza.
Oh my goodness. I'm sitting here like because Christmas, I'm just thinking about Christmas and gift giving. And it's like, this is a good time to start doing some of that and going to different cities and towns to see what I can find that's fabulous for my friends and family.
And they have a lot of new stuff in there too. Like some of the stuff is not secondhand. Some of it is brought in from other stores who weren't able to sell it. Like I know the Goodwill close to me, they often have Target items. It's Target because it has a little tag still attached to it or what have you. But sometimes the thrift store, get shipments in from other stores who weren't able to sell their items. So you can find new items, that you can purchase as well.
That's good. That's good to know. I mean, her enthusiasm definitely rang true. I mean, she definitely wears that title well. And I've been in thrift stores, but I've come out with books and some money books. And then there was one place I got a pocketbook. But other than that, not too much. So I'm willing to do a girls trip. Check it out. Yes, I love it. I love it.
Well, she gave us a fresh perspective tonight, Indy, and for sure. So I'm glad we had her. Well, ladies and gents, it is about that time. Our hour has come and gone. We hope that you were taking notes. We hope that you're going to be Googling the nearest and the furthest thrift store from you so you can take a trip with some girlfriends, some buddies, and have a good time. I was thinking about how, scripture tells us, it's more blessed to give than to receive, right? So even if you're not sold on going shopping, you can at least donate some of your stuff that you have not worn. Look, my sister says if you haven't worn it in about 2 years, you need to get rid of it. So go on and donate it to the thrift shop. Go on and get rid of it, and it is a tax write-off. So we appreciate you spending the last 60 minutes with us. We hope to see you next Thursday at the same time, same place. We pray that you enjoyed yourself. Until the next time, stay safe, stay blessed, stay in faith, and stay shopping.
See ya.